watch
How?
this?
How?
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 Ew,
How do you watch this?
Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. My name is Megan, and I love romance.
My name is Demi, and I love horror.
And this week, I recommended for Demi the Will Smith classic, Hitch. And I think I figured out the connection and the common thread, excuse me. And if it's not this, I'm going to be livid.
If it's really good, I'll just say yes.
Okay, business cards.
It's not business cards, but you know what? Let's do it. I did Men with Secret Lives.
Oh,
But
that's good. That's good.
I like the
But
business card.
I know.
like
I
that.
was like, what could it be? What could it be? And then I thought of the business card scene. I thought of Hitch's like simple little thing. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. I like that better. We'll do that.
Okay, cool.
We'll do that.
Retroactively make it our thread. Let's go.
All these movies have more than one thread. So,
Yeah.
you know, we
it
can
has
pick and
to.
choose. Somehow.
I love the idea that Amy would be like, I have to watch these two movies together because they both have business cards.
Well, we've
But, you know,
done a lot of
I know.
obscure, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes my start to this so fun. I don't know. Everything about this is fun for me, so I don't know why.
Just makes it interesting. It makes you keeps you focused, you
Yeah.
know? You're like, what is the thread going to be?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I love that you dig deep because I don't.
Yeah.
When I try to figure out the thread, I'm just like, I hope it's obvious. I don't pay that much attention.
That's all right.
Yeah, so this is Hitch, a 2005 movie, and it is rated PG-13. It is a rom-com. It's an hour, 58 minutes, which
Yeah, it's long.
is too long, I think.
For a rom-com, pretty long.
Yeah. The director's Andy Tennant, and I just realized this is the fourth movie
By him?
I reviewed. Yes, it was Fool's Gold, Ever After,
No.
Hitch, and Sweet Home Alabama.
No way.
Yeah. I was like, this motherfucker, get out of here,
He's
Andy.
just, spewing gold, okay?
He's like our Stephen King, you know? It's like we have our
he
one
is.
that we just keep throwing out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was surprised to see it, but I was like, you know what? Okay, I see it. So let's see what was the last one I did? Fool's Gold? I reviewed from it.
That, you did not like that one.
I did not, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how Hitch holds up.
Do feel like it's interesting watching this again as an adult because I don't think I've seen this since I was younger. And I think that whether it be the time or the age, some of the jokes hit way harder when I was younger than as an adult.
Yeah, I will say not as funny as I remember.
Yeah.
But I do remember it differently, and I think watching it now I was like, okay, I think the concept's a little better because I remember Will Smith's character being like more misogynistic,
Sleazy,
I guess, and sleazy, and he's really not. So I was like, okay, cool, because I was like, this is not going to go well in that department, but it wasn't like that. So you know, other things didn't go well, but that part,
there were definitely some things where I was like, I don't like that.
So so we'll start with the movie, and so we meet our main character played by Will Smith. His name is Alex Hitchens. I will refer to him as Hitch, as he is referred to in the movie. He's known as the Love Doctor.
Ooh.
So he claims that men just need a little push to get the woman of their dreams, and he claims he can get a man with any woman that they want.
Yeah, and I was like, there's some aspects of what he was saying that were like fair, where he's like, sometimes a woman can get in her own way based on like past experiences, which is but the idea that any man could get any woman,
right? Yeah.
I'm not being an elitist. I'm just saying people have different personalities, okay?
It's true. You know, when his advice is good advice. So he's basically helps more like nerdy men, like men who are just not confident, and he helps them out and gives them advice on, and it's very fair advice. A lot of it's just like, pay attention to the woman, listen to what she's saying, like talk to her and pick up things that she likes. And so when it comes to that, it's like, that is good advice. But he also creates opportunity. So one of the things we see is that this guy's really interested in this woman, and she has this little dachshund, and she goes into her elevator with her dog, and Hitch takes out another dachshund to pull the dog out of the elevator. Yeah, a girl dachshund. And so the dog runs out the elevator, and it closes before the woman can run out. So by the time she's able to come out and get her dog, Hitch hands her dog to the guy that likes the woman, and they stage this thing where he's like sitting in front of this stopped cab, acting like he saved her dog. And so at this point, that creates an opportunity for her to notice him and talk and set up a date. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I can see like if women are just not paying attention, and it creates an opportunity for them to be like, I didn't really notice this guy. You know, I could give it a chance. But he's also like, you know.
It is starting the relationship on a lie. That like that becomes the foundation of your meet cute like moment of saving.
Right. And it was just staged. And even like the one guy is like, oh, you know, I don't really like these shoes. And Hitch is like, you know, they look great on you. You just need to like be in the moment. Like these shoes are you. You just don't think that yet. Yeah. You'll be fine. And so he is like setting them up in a way it's like not fully authentic, but it's also they are still being mostly authentic. They're just listening to his advice more and changing the way they would probably handle the situation.
There's definitely a lot to what is being done where it's like he's only helping them through the first 3 dates basically until they get their first kiss, and then it's basically it's up to you and you have to like do the rest. And so no one's gonna get married based off of like what Hitch has set up. But for me, it's like, okay, it's fine when it's the shoes and he's a little spiffier on the first date. It's fine when it's just like helping them like pick out a date spot or whatever. But I draw the line at fake saving a dog from a cab.
I agree. It's a little dramatic.
Yeah.
And Hitch himself is very charming. He knows, like, he picks up women's mannerisms and just, like, nonverbal things really well. So he is able to do that easily. So he's basically giving that information to these men that wouldn't be able to pick that up easily. And so it just feels unnatural, you know, for them to follow this advice where it works for Hitch. And it's working for them. But, yeah, like you said, it's the first 3 dates and then...
Yeah. Then
like,
you're
well, good luck.
On your own. Yep.
But according to Hitch, the first kiss, a woman knows how the relationship will go. So
interesting. And did you feel that way about Brett? Did you know how your relationship would go?
I asked Brett. I was like, "How would you just? What do you think our relationship would have been?" And he's like, "Messy." Our first kiss was in this like nightclub.
No.
Yeah, we were like on the dance floor. We were that couple. Like really icky. Yeah.
Demi. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna paint a picture for you. My first kiss.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so me. Okay, we were on a hike.
Yeah.
The sun was setting.
Of course.
Behind us, we were sitting on a rock together, like holding hands, and behind us, a couple of like hooligans were like screaming curse words. So Travis was like, all right, let's get up and walk a little further. So we walk a little further down the trees, and he parts the leaves, and he's like, look at the sunset. And that was our first kiss.
Oh, that's nice and romantic.
Yeah, it's very romantic.
Yeah, and we just had like a sweaty, hot and steamy nightclub kiss. But
you know what? You know what? That's,
so us.
You know, it's perfect. It's perfect for your love story.
It's perfect. It's great. Yeah.
Mine is the epitome of me because of course it's interrupted by children screaming. Like,
of course it can't be perfect. It's a rom-com.
No, it's like my first when we first said I love you in the background, we were at a park and a bunch of high schoolers were trying to shove their friend in the trunk of their car.
Oh, perfect.
So in between Travis being like, I don't know if it's the right time, and then they're like, get in the trunk. Get in the trunk.
She's just constantly interrupted by children. Perfect. Yeah.
I have my own hecklers apparently. She's following me.
That just feels authentic, you know, for you. I love
am
that.
a rom-com, so
yeah, that feels very real. Oh my God. So Hitch himself does not have a partner. He doesn't have anyone serious. He just likes to flirt around, have fun with his single life, and that's fine for him. Even though he likes to help men find love, he doesn't fully believe in that himself, which is kind of funny.
It's really funny too, because he has like his apartment is covered in like their wedding invites and whatever. So I feel like there's part of him that believes in love, but he just doesn't. He's too afraid. He's too scared.
Wants to. Yeah, yes. And we find out through flashback why he is this way. In college, he's like this like nerdy guy. He's still very attractive. There's like no there's no way like he's passing as nerdy.
You can't like nerdify Will Smith. He just got
he still was like really cool.
Yeah.
So, but he's like this nerdy guy, and he meets this woman, and he falls in love with her immediately. And he does like fall hard. He's a little intense, and you can tell that she was like not fully into him that way.
It's so funny, dude, because watching this as a kid, I was like, they're in love. And watching it as an adult, I was like, oh, she's not into him. Yeah. I don't know what. I clearly did not know what was up when I was younger.
Not picking up the signals she was giving off.
I was like, why did she leave Will Smith? I don't get it.
I don't understand. So he finds her making out with some other dude in a car. He's like, why would you do this? I love you, all this stuff. And she's just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so basically,
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but literally the fact that she has to hand crank the window up to reject him is brutal.
So messed up.
I know.
And so that's why he is this way. He, like you said, is scared. He fell in love. He fell hard, and she just threw him to the side. So he's just not worried about love for himself. He just wants to help other people. After that, you know, he really worked on himself and learning about women and what they want, and is now this love doctor. So we also meet Sarah, who's played by Eva Mendes, and she works as a writer for like this gossip column paper.
Yeah.
And she just came back to work early from like a short vacation.
Couldn't make me leave work 4 days early.
No, but she loves her job. Her life is her job.
Yeah.
So she comes in, she's like, I got news photos of this man who cheated on an heiress named Allegra Cole. And she's played by Amber Valletta. I did not look into her. She looked kind of familiar, but I just...
Yeah, a little bit, but not enough. Yeah.
So she's very excited for that. Her boss is like, hell yeah, this is great. And yeah, she's like, she doesn't have a man in her life. She's fine with it. She's like, I'm working. I don't need a man. Yeah. It's like, you know what? Good for you, girl.
Yeah, get it.
She's also stunning. I can't stop looking at her.
Oh my god, dude. She's married to Ryan Gosling, right?
I know. Yep. Ugh, what a power couple. I was like, Brett, that's your man's girl.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's lucky lady, you know, like he's a lucky man. I don't know. They're both lucky. I don't even know. God, looking for a third. Anyway. Oh, Hitch's next referral or person, because he is word of mouth. You know, he doesn't have like a website or anything. It's basically men that get help. They suggest him to other men, and that's how he gets business. So the next man he's helping is Albert, played by Kevin James. And he is this really shy, sweet, like nerdy guy, like financial nerdy guy. And he's fallen for a girl. He wants Hitch to help him. Yeah. So Hitch finds out that the woman is Allegra Cole, the heiress that was just cheated on. And at first, Hitch is like, hell no, like, you're out of your mind. Because he was watching Al, like, he's studying Al from a distance, and he's like, this dude.
He has his resume, which I don't know if you could read some of what was on his resume, but I'm going to give you a couple things. So first of all, what I saw right away was that one of his favorite singers was Clay Aiken, which was like sending me.
That's so, it's like 2005. That is so accurate to that year. Oh my God.
That is so good. And then on top of that, we know that some of his favorite movies include Revenge of the Nerds and Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, which are
nice.
At least for LOTR, I can say a good choice.
Like 2 movies to list. They're very opposite.
Right. Yeah.
From that, we know he's just not someone that, like someone like Allegra Cole would
traditionally
supposedly be
yeah,
with.
because she was cheated on by a Skarsgård brother. So
Woo!
I know.
My goodness. Yeah, and Hitch, like, he's like, didn't he like own Sweden or something? So like it's a very big difference. But then he agrees to help Al because he can see that Al is a good person and is sincere about this woman. So basically, Al is one of her financial advisors, so that's how he knows her. And they've never like talked, but she kind of borrowed his pen, so that's like the most interaction they've had. And so Hitch, his first suggestion was to speak out and get her to notice him at the next meeting they had.
Yeah.
So during the meeting, it's her, all her advisors, and then his boss. And she brings up how she was thinking of investing some of her money to her friend who is in fashion design, and she really wanted to support her friend. And the boss was like, I don't know. We can like talk about it. Because I think she wanted to invest like $150,000.
No, 500.
500? Okay.
Yeah,
500. So a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah, $500,000, which back then is basically like $1 billion.
So then Al speaks up and he's like, you know what? It's your money. You should be able to do whatever you want with it.
Yep.
And which is true. And his boss is like surprised and is telling him to, you know, fall in line.
Down,
yeah. And Al's like, nope, I quit.
Dude, when he quit his job, I was like, bro.
And he walks out, goes into his office, and he's like having a panic attack.
Yes, of
and Hitch
course.
is like also panicking because he's like, I didn't tell you to quit your job. What are you doing? And they're just like, these two together. Hitch is trying to like calm Al down, and Al's just like freaking out, like flailing everywhere. And then Allegra knocks on the door, and Hitch managed to calm Al down a little bit to talk to her. And she basically thanks him for standing up, you know, sticking up for her. And she's never had anyone, you know, speak that way to her. And she really appreciated it and wanted to meet with him later to really go over what she wants to do. So Al agrees. He gets her number. And so good so far. You know, it's going well. Even though he quit, but
yeah.
Hey, if he lands this woman, he don't have to work ever again.
Exactly.
So
but your
win-win.
card's right, you're a multimillionaire, so
you're good. So that night, Hitch ends up seeing Sarah at the bar. This is Eva's character, and she's just like sitting by herself, and she's got these like sexy secretary glasses on. And so he asks the bartender about her, and the bartender's like, oh, she's here a lot. And it's basically because she's just looking for gossip. She's trying to find sneaky things, you know, people showing up at the club and doing sneaky things.
Guerrilla marketing kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he wants to go talk to her, and another man interrupts. And this guy is just giving really bad pickup lines. Yeah. And she's basically like, hey, it's not you. I'm just like not interested. But the guy just keeps going. So Hitch steps in, pretends to be like her partner, and was like, hey, sorry, I'm late. How was work? And she plays along. Yeah. Kicks the guy out.
Yeah.
So then Hitch, he's real smooth with it, you know?
So smooth, dude.
He's
so
like,
smooth.
I can tell by the way you're dressed and the way you're sitting around that you don't want any attention. You're looking for this. Like, he like is just reading her really well.
Yeah.
And she's very impressed by that. And you can tell she's like really into it. And he's playing like he's like interested, but then he leaves. He's like, well, goodbye, have a good night. And she's like, what the
Forget
and I definitely would have been like,
yes,
who is this man?
Yes, it would have haunted me. I would have been like,
yeah,
I must find him.
I must find this man. And then after he left, like bartender brings a drink and was like, oh, this drink was ordered by the by that man. And I was like, damn, he's smooth. He's
smooth as hell.
Smooth as butter. And so she's definitely like, okay, who is that guy?
Yeah.
So then I didn't even bring up her friend Casey. I probably should bring her up.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she
does play
an integral role in how
so
things go.
She has a best friend. Her best friend is like very opposite to Sarah. Sarah's very much like I'm a working woman. I don't need a man. And then her best friend is like, I want a relationship. I want to find love. And she tells her about this guy that she met while shopping for lingerie. And the guy was like, buying stuff for my mom. And Sarah's like, obviously he was buying stuff for another woman.
Right.
And he's flirting with you. And she's like, yeah, but like he was really charming and stuff. And it's just like, girl.
No.
So I don't know how Sarah can deal with that.
Dude, could you imagine being friends with someone who did stuff? I would lose my mind.
No, I'd be like, sweetie.
Because then,
girl.
like, when she gets her heart broken, it's like, okay, now I have to pick up your pieces.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's like, I told you from the start.
Right.
But Sarah is a nice, lovely lady.
Yeah,
so.
she is a sweetheart.
She tries, but she's listening to her friend and is like, all right.
Yeah.
So the next day, Sarah, while she's in her office, there's a delivery man that comes by and gives her a package, and inside is a walkie-talkie, and Hitch is on the other side and is asking to go on a date with her.
Yes.
It's like so cute. I was like, ooh, this is creative, you know? Like,
good.
Woo.
He would have gotten me.
He
No problem.
Yeah, for sure.
No problem. He would have been not interested in me because I would have been like, you got it. You got it.
Would have been too easy, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been like, this girl is ready, and I don't like that.
So Sarah's like, oh, I'm like I'm busy, but they end up agreeing to a breakfast Sunday on Sunday at like 7 a.m. She's like, that is too early, but he's already like hung up.
Yeah.
And then there's another gift,
Oh, God.
and it's a wetsuit, and for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so she discovers that they had like a jet ski date, and he wants to bring her to Ellis Island. Yeah. So here on this date, and they have really good chemistry together. They're really cute, and everything's going well until his jet ski dies on the water. And so he's like, hey, like, let me get on your jet ski. And she's like, all right, like, hop on. He's like, but I gotta get in front because you don't know where you're going. And she's like, all right, men and their egos, whatever. Yeah. He goes to get on and fucking kicks her in the face and knocks her off.
Oh my God.
I would have, if I was Hitch, I would have driven the jet ski away. Like, I would have never seen.
You would have left her.
I would have left her. I would have been so embarrassed. I would rather commit murder, like have her die in the middle of the Hudson River than like ever see her again.
Oh my God.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah,
but
really embarrassing.
Luckily, they took it very well because he goes after her.
Yeah,
to help her out of the water.
She plays it off really.
She's
like a trooper.
Yeah, because I would have been like, Will Smith's a big dude. That could have knocked her ass out.
So bad. Hits to the head hurts so bad. God.
It was hard enough for her to fly off the jet ski. So they eventually make it to Ellis Island. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a very big immigrant inspection processing location for people back in the day.
Yeah, I have family who went through Ellis Island.
I probably do. I just don't.
Oh, okay. Way to know your history, Demi.
I mean, probably.
Yeah,
but,
you know, maybe you'll have a similar experience to what
Sarah
had.
So the security guard there knows Hitch, and he gives them like a private tour of the museum area, and it's just talking about the history and stuff. And then towards the end, Sarah mentions that she is pretty sure she had like a family member that came through here. And so Hitch already knows that and surprises her by showing her a logbook that had the person's name in it. And she looks at the book.
Dude, I was actually laughing.
She looks at the book and she's like, oh my God, it's my great-great-grandfather. And she starts crying. And then she like yells.
She just like this like noise multiple times.
Dude, I was like, I forgot about this scene.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure I made the same face that Hitch and the security guard made when she made that noise. I was like, what? It was literally like, she does it like twice.
Right. It was like, she was like trying to scare somebody. You know, when you go up behind someone, you like, at them. Like, it was that, but towards a book.
And she runs out. And Hitch is like, I picture that going differently. So we find out that his person was either, it had to be like a serial killer or murder or something. And they've just been like trying to like remove him from their like
family history.
And Hitch is like, I'm so sorry, because he saw butcher.
Right, and he thought it was a profession.
Yeah, he didn't know it was like a headline for a butcher. And so this thing went horribly. But, you know, it brought them together.
And honestly, on both sides, I could see either of them being like, nah, no, not interested anymore.
Yeah, both sides. I would not have continued, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It would have been like really a lot.
Yeah.
But Sarah was into it. She was like, you know what? He was like really sweet. I went wrong, but I liked it. So good for Hitch. And it's funny because, you know, this whole time he's so like charming and all this stuff, and this date just went horribly wrong. So that's already showing that like maybe he's not as charismatic and put together as he might show.
Because in his own, exactly. When it comes down to, we haven't seen him like on dates yet, but we know he's pretty fast and loose with things. It's pretty much like you get the impression he's a one-night stand kind of a guy.
Right. He's not going on dates. He's meeting women at like bars and says some stuff to them, and they just
yeah.
And you know, that's what worked for him.
Yeah. Can really quickly go back, because it's haunting me. His brother-in-law who's at the bar with him.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I hated this scene. This should have been my deleted. I didn't delete it.
It started off good, and then it went south. So it starts off with the brother-in-law who's there with him, and they're like playing pool, whatever. And the brother-in-law just starts talking about how he needs to find love and meaning in his life and whatever. And it's like, yes, this is the way men should talk to each other. Like, yes, put down.
Yeah, because he's like, you know, you just don't know when you meet a woman and you have that bond and that experience and that connection, and you just don't get it. And like, I have that with my wife, and it's amazing. And I'm just like, love that. That's great.
And then
go ahead.
And then these two gorgeous women walk in, and you can basically see the drool coming out of his mouth. I was like,
the brother-in-law's mouth.
The brother-in-law. I was livid. I was like, how dare you? His wife is pregnant at home about to give birth.
And then Hitch was like, do you want me to bring those girls over and we can talk?
I know. And he's married to your sister. The way? First of all, they started off as besties before he met the sister and married her or whatever. If any of my brothers saw Travis doing that, they would destroy him.
Yeah, fairly.
Rightfully so. And I would have been like, you know what? Good job, guys.
Yeah.
How dare, if you can't keep your tongue in your mouth when you see an attractive person walk in the room, when you're goddess of a wife.
And they could have framed this a little bit different. It could have been like, for a second, he could have been like, you know, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they're attractive, but you know.
But I'm still drawn towards my wife. Yes. Like, you can still acknowledge attractiveness without suddenly becoming an absolute thoughtless worm.
And that's where I thought it was going to go.
Yes.
And no, it didn't.
No. So this is but honestly, it is very 2000s of it. Like, it goes with whatever the times and the humor of the times. Blah, 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 blah. It was dumb, and I hated that scene.
Yeah, you're right. What did I put with my deleted? That might be my deleted. I might change it. I'll let you know what my other deleted is.
Okay, I'll tell you which one's worse. Okay.
All right. So then we go.
Your deleted for you.
Yeah, thank you. So we see Hitch and Al again working on planning a date with Allegra. So they were gonna meet to talk, you know, business stuff. But then Hitch was like, no, say you're busy. But there's a fashion event going on, and invite her to that instead. Bring it up, say, you know, to bring her friend, whatever. Which is, you know, smart, good advice. That works. She's into fashion and it all works out. So she agrees, and Hitch gives him advice on how to act around like people that she knows to be more confident, because, you know, she is a big person and a lot of these people are also big people. So Al has to place himself, you know, almost equal and show that he's there as well and won't get hidden in the shadow. And other advice he gives is says to avoid dancing unless she wants to dance. And I was like, I'm not even worried about that. I'm good. And it's just like, no, show me what you mean by that. And like, this scene, I remember, was so funny. It wasn't as funny now, but
back then it was hilarious. But
the best scene of the movie. Yeah, so Al shows some moves, and they're the classic, like, Q-tip, throw it away. Throw it away. It's like those type of moves.
Yes.
And Will's like, don't ever do that.
Never do that again. Yeah.
Never do that again. And so he shows Al basic steps. It's just you just move back and forth like this. You don't do anything crazy.
Yes.
That's all you need to do. So then at the date, Al's doing really well. He's like being quick with responses and funny, and it seems like Allegra's really like enjoying herself. At one point they start dancing and Allegra's like real cute white girl dancing.
Yeah.
And you can see Al like wants to dance, but he's keeping cool until Allegra turns around and he just goes crazy. He's going crazy and photos are taken of him because obviously he's with, high profile person. So some photos are taken. Unfortunately, they're of him doing these moves behind her. And he ends up meeting her friend Maggie, who's a man, and catches Al by surprise. So he gets a little tongue-tied, but it comes back. He pulls back.
He comes back swinging. He does a great job of just like flattering Maggie and like giving him attention and showing that like he cares about Allegra's friends.
Right. And Maggie's like, I like. At first they're like, is he gay?
Yeah.
Because
like,
I was like, paying a lot of attention to Maggie. He was like, I like this tie. And Maggie's like, But he says that he likes Al. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So then we meet. So Hitch then meets another prospective client named Vance. And Vance says, hey, there's this girl I met when I was buying lingerie for my mom. And Hitch immediately was like, all right, you weren't buying lingerie for your mom. And he's like, no, I was buying for another woman who I'm not with anymore, but I keep thinking about this girl. I don't know, there's something about her. And I just need your help to like bang her, pretty much. And Hitch is like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't help men like that. Like, I'm helping men for love, not for that. And Vance was like, I'll give you money. Need your help. I need your help to get with her. And Hitch was like, nah, fuck you. So there's like a huge scene in the restaurant.
And Will Smith is like so sexy because he like manhandles him to the table. And I'm like,
he's real smooth with it.
I know.
Yeah,
I was like, this man is so attractive.
I know. I'm swooning. I mean, I'm always swooning over Will Smith.
I know. I mean, minus that, one incident. But whatever.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about that. Like, I genuinely, like, he was like my favorite forever.
I know.
What
I blocked it from my memory.
Dude?
No, I can't. That's an alternate universe. That didn't happen.
So weird. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, movie characters.
Yeah.
Always the best. So, he leaves Vance. He's like, I'm not helping this fucking dude. And then we jump back to Sarah talking to her boss. And the boss is upset because pictures have come out of Allegra with this man, and he's like, who is this guy? How come you haven't found out any information about this? Like, what is going on? Because she's always on top of that. And so he's upset with that Sarah didn't get the scoop before the other newspaper did. And she ends up finding out that Hitch was the one that got tickets for Al and Allegra. She tries to ask him about that, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's denying it because he's like, I can't.
That's my tax accountant. Like,
we can't know
Yeah.
about his secret job. So Sarah's boss is really pushing. She's like, if you know that person, like, you gotta get this info out. So then they plan this dinner event all together, and it's a thing where you prepare your own dinner. It's like a fancy chef event, and you prepare, you eat it. So it's her boss with his wife, and then Sarah and Hitch. So they're talking, and Sarah doesn't want to pry Hitch. She's really doesn't want to push it, but her boss is being annoying. So they both kind of gang up on Hitch, and Hitch is like scratching at his ear a little bit and like making this coughing noise. And they're like, yo, you good? He ends up having an allergic reaction to the food.
I remember thinking this, rewinding and rewatching this when I was a kid. Like, thought this was the funniest thing in the world.
I will say this is my most memorable scene because his face is awful, and it's honestly so funny. They're at like a store, and he's like, "How bad is it?" She's like, "It's not, it's not that bad. Just need some Benadryl." And he turns and looks in the mirror, and he's like, "Oh." And it's awful.
Like, I would have rushed him to the hospital if I was if I was on a date with someone and their face did what his face did.
I'm pretty sure his throat would have like swelled up actually. If his face was swelling up that quickly like that, he probably would have actually died. But it's a rom-com, so it's just funny.
No, so it's just this goofy little face.
He's freaking out, and he just starts drinking freaking liquid Benadryl.
Oh.
So he's like drugged up and basically drunk, and they're walking together. She does try to get a little more info from him, and he does admit that the two of them were going to a Knicks game the next night, that Allegra.
Yeah, Allegra and Albert.
So they go back to her place, and, you know, they just like talk a little bit.
Yeah, they get deep. They dig into their histories a little.
And then in the morning, he's supposedly not there.
Right.
And she's just like, fuck this dude.
Yeah, screaming into her pillow about like, stupid, stupid, stupid.
And he shows up with like food. He got breakfast.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. So then they have their kiss, their first kiss.
Yeah.
And so they're really liking each other.
Yeah.
We jump back to Al and Hitch again talking, and Hitch is like, hey, so, you know, you're probably gonna kiss her tonight, so here's some advice. If a woman is at her door, she's fidgeting with her keys, it means she wants to kiss you. So if she's doing that, you gotta, you know, kiss her, but lean in like 90%, and then she'll finish the 10%. So he's like, all right, pretend to kiss me. And I was like, I can't. And he's like, just try. So like tries to come in. It's so awkward.
Oh my God.
And Hitch was like, come on, man. I'm the one of your dreams. And Al just kisses.
Yeah.
Just kisses Hitch. So that doesn't go great. But, you know, he got some extra advice before this next date. And so they're at the game. And Al and Allegra have another nice time together. And he teaches her how to whistle with her fingers.
Which I would love to be able to do. Oh my God.
I know.
I need someone to teach me.
It's such a great little skill.
Yeah.
And Sarah is off to the side getting photos of this. And she's like, they're so cute. They're so adorable. Like, I love this. So then at the end of the night, they're at Allegra's doorstep. She's like fidgeting with her keys a little bit. And Al ends up chickening out. Yeah. He's like, well, good night. Starts walking away. He goes to take his inhaler.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? He turns around dramatically and throws it to the ground and goes up to kiss her, but he only goes in 90%.
Oh my God.
And she goes in for the kiss, and
they did like him so dirty by like just zooming in. Like his like lips are like in front of the camera, and I was like, if that face was in front of me, that is not the cutest. It's like a little kid coming in for a kiss, like with the full fucker.
Well, it's like on TikTok where people making fun of men kissing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like exactly that, but like worse.
Yes.
But she finds him cute, so it's all good.
That matters.
Yeah. So then, the next day, Casey, Sarah's best friend, is talking about her date that she went on and how she's upset about it. Basically, she went out with the lingerie guy, Vance, and they had sex.
Yep.
And he had to leave in a hurry.
Yep.
And she pretty much says, I want to kick that date doctor who helped him.
Right.
Like, get with me.
Right.
So then Sarah's like, who the fuck is this guy? Who hurt my friend? So she's trying to find all this information out. She ends up talking to Vance. Vance gives her his card, like the card for the date doctor.
Yeah.
And so she sets up this fake meeting with Hitch and like a friend of hers.
Yeah.
And she watches off to the side, but she doesn't know it's Hitch, with the doctor. But then she sees Hitch show up and realize that the doctor is Hitch, and she's pissed about it.
Yeah.
Because obviously she thinks that he set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's so upset that she ends up writing a article exploiting the situation between Al and
which is so
Allegra.
Sad.
Yeah, and it's pretty much like, oh, the date doctor can get you a date with anyone.
Yeah.
It's like fucked up.
Yeah.
So obviously this is awful for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Hitch is ruined. He's upset because Sarah didn't know the facts. She didn't know what she was writing about. Al and Allegra, obviously that's horrible.
Yeah.
Because an Allegra thinks it was all an act. Nothing was serious. So Hitch goes to confront Sarah at this speed dating thing that she's doing with her friend, Casey. He finds out through there that Vance went on a date with Casey, And that's why Sarah was pissed. And Hitch was like, I didn't work with that guy. Like, I met with him. He was a scumbag. I don't work with people like that.
Yeah.
So then Sarah's like, fuck, I fucked up.
Yeah, he was like, do your research next time. And I was like, you tell her. You tell her.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So she goes to apologize to Hitch. And he's upset still, obviously. And it's just kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Leaves her hanging. And so she's upset about it. But listen,
Yeah, it was very hurtful.
Yeah. Al comes over to help, like, to talk to Hitch, and is pretty much wants to try and still make it work with Allegra. And Hitch is like real bitter. He's like, love's overrated, it's not worth it. And Al's like, you know, you help all these people, but you don't believe in love. How does that work, you know? So Al leaves upset, and Hitch starts thinking about it, and he's like, all right, so he's gonna help Al by talking to Allegra and pretty much explaining everything. He meets Allegra on her boat, because of course she has one.
Yeah, of course.
And she's like, you know, all those things he did, that was like all you, because you had to read that kids made fun of me for not being able to whistle in like fourth grade or something. Yeah. So that's why Al knew about the whistling. Yeah. And she brings up like the dance, like everything.
Yes. Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm a bad dancer, so you had him dance badly. And he's like, he did what?
Yeah. Hitch was like, oh, hell no, I did not tell Al. That's Al written all over it. That was not me at all. And so basically all the things she found endearing was all Al. Yeah. And she's like, well, what did you do? And Hitch was like, nothing, apparently. I didn't do anything. And so everything's cleared up. She ends up hugging Hitch because she's happy that he was able to explain that to her. But Al shows up right when that happens. And he's like, you son of a bitch. And starts choking Hitch violently until Allegra's able to pull him back and be like, no, it's violent.
Yes, unnecessarily violent.
So Allegra's like, no, he was explaining everything. Everything's fine. And they're like, I love you. And they are made up. And Hitch is like, all right, I gotta go. So then he goes to find Sarah at her apartment. And he's like trying to tell her how he feels, but he's struggling. And she's just like not buying it. She's just wants him to leave. But he's being honest to her about how he feels. But she opens the door and there's another man there. And she's just like, it's too late. Like, that's enough. Yeah. And it's like my deleted scene, this whole like end part.
It
I was like,
unnecessary.
Okay, so she's leaving with this guy in a cab. Hitch is really like trying to stop her. He's like, no, like please. He like jumps on the car. He almost dies trying to get her to stop. Yeah. And he just confesses to her about how he feels, and then she kisses him. And they make up, and you find out that the guy is her brother-in-law. Right. And I was like, girl, why? Just because, like, you know, she was in the wrong in the first place. And to make him go through all these hoops, and it's like, just him admitting his feelings at the door would have been more than enough.
Yes,
I'd been like, you know what?
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I think so, too. Like,
thank you
she was hurt because he didn't immediately forgive her. And it's like, girl, come on. Like,
it's understandably so. So, like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is goofy. I wasn't a fan, so this was my original deleted scene.
And I honestly like
I wish they had
done better.
Yeah, I wish they had a better thing at the end.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. They end up together. Yeah. Scene is Al and Allegra's wedding. Yeah. And everyone's happy and dancing and all this stuff. And Hitch uses his matchmaking magic more time to help Casey get with this rich fellow after she helps save his grandmother from choking, which the grandmother faked. Right. She winked at Hitch later.
So great.
So yeah, everyone's coupled up. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
You know,
classic
happily
rom-com
ever ending.
After. Yeah. And they all dance their way out.
They dance. Yep. They did a line and did all their dancing. So that's how the movie ends.
It is. It was a ride. It was like interesting to watch again as an adult. And
it was a ride.
Yeah.
There was a lot that happened in this movie.
There was a lot. I thought I was going to enjoy it more watching it. I did. I was like, I had like a little bit higher expectations. I think the nostalgia, you know, sometimes with those movies where you have high expectations based on the enjoyment you had as a kid. Yeah. It did influence it a little bit.
I thought there were going to be, like, more gimmicks.
Yeah.
I think the trailer had all the funny bits. Yeah. And that's what I remembered.
Yeah.
And, you know, it had a lot more to it. And I thought it was too long.
Yeah.
I didn't mind the whole twist, not twist, but like the whole them getting confused about the situation and Sarah writing the column and all that stuff. Like, I was like, oh, that's really interesting and like sucks. So I liked that portion of it, but I don't know. I was just like bored.
Really?
I feel a little bored.
Yeah.
And I liked Al and Allegra's little like relationship. I thought they were cute. Sarah and Hitch I also liked, but like by the end I just wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the drama came in between, so that's why I wish they had a better conclusion. But
I agree. It was very like rapid fire. You didn't get to have as much of that like build up or sweetness happen or those like moments together. So I get that. I personally was like going back and forth between what would I rate it, I think like if I'm giving it a nostalgia rating, like combining my past enjoyment with my current viewing, I would say probably a 3.8. But my instinct was 3.5, but I didn't want to go quite that low with knowing how much I enjoyed it back in 2005.
Yeah. No, it's very fair. I'll finish my review and then give the
Give your rating. Okay, I just jumped the gun. Okay.
That's fine. Totally fine. Main character, smash.
Duh.
Obviously. Side character, I put as Al. I said pass.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's sweet, but like I found nothing attractive about that man, I'll be honest.
I will be fair, I was watching him like looking for those sweetness, but like when he spilled mustard on himself, he like genuinely got so angry about the fact that he spilled mustard, and I was like, for me, that was the red flag, not the spilling the mustard, but him getting so mad at himself for spilling mustard. I was like, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, there just wasn't enough for me to be like, oh yeah.
I also am more of like, you know, I like a little bit more take charge, which he did at some points, but yeah, that's where I'm like, you know, it's not, I don't agree that every man can get every woman because there's just personality mismatches.
It's true. It's very true. Fall in love, I put half. I put 5 because I feel like for Hitch, like, yes, but also like that first date really would have thrown me off. I just would have been like, I just don't know about this guy. And he is like sweet and you can see like the way he is with her. He's like more giddy and like sweet with her, which is really cute.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know. I'd probably put like halfway. It's coin toss.
That's fair.
Recommend. I said no. I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it holds up well, unfortunately. So I did give it a 2.8.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I looked at Fool's Gold. I'm like, what did I rate Fool's Gold? Because Fool's Gold is definitely worse than this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
I gave that a 2. So I was like, all right, I'll give Hitch like a 2.8.
That's fair. I'm not like appalled. My instinct was like 3.5, which I think is...
Yeah.
You know, it tracks for our disparity in interest. It was not as good as I remember it being like top tier, so good.
I know.
It just, a lot of the jokes didn't age well.
Yeah, a lot of it felt dated. Even like the way it looked, I don't know. It just like felt old.
Lot of it. Yeah, there was a lot of it that was just kind of didn't make it one of those rom-coms that can last across time.
Yeah, like if I have to tier my Andy Tennant movies so far, Fool's Gold at the bottom, Hitch, Sweet Home Alabama, and then Ever After.
Ever After, of course. So. And I fully agree with you. I am there all along the way with that ranking.
Yeah.
I wonder like if this was I don't know, I'm curious if this could have like what could have been done differently to make it work. There is surprising depth to some of the connections within it. So like there's a lot of thought went behind like character names and stuff. So Allegra Coleman, so not Allegra Cole, but Allegra Coleman was a fictitious actress created by Esquire magazine 1996 because they were basically doing like this publicity stunt where they wanted to make fun of the way that people are obsessed with like it girls and whatever. And so it was this fake actress that they came up with to make this whole publicity stunt about. And so that's where Allegra Cole comes from, is that, which I thought was interesting. And then his ex's name was Cressida, and Cressida is a character in Shakespeare who was unfaithful to her lover.
Interesting.
Yes. And then there's this go-between. There's like a quote from Shakespeare that says, "Let all constant men be Troiluses, all false women Cressidas, and all brokers between Pandars." And as a go-between, technically Hitch is like a go-between. He's like the middleman in these relationships. So I was like, wow, a lot of thought went into like those aspects, which is interesting. There were some deleted scenes that they didn't put in, so they had, and I think it's for the best, they had actually had a scene where Cressida and Hitch meet again, and they gave him like a second chance with her just to show that she's not the one. But the director decided it wasn't necessary for his growth for him to have to see her again. And I agree. I don't think that would have helped anything. No. Then another thing that I think is interesting is that Will Smith is quoted as having said that, quote, "There's sort of an accepted myth that if you have two black actors, a male and a female, in the lead of a romantic comedy, that people around the world don't want to see it." He told that to the Birmingham Post while promoting the film overseas. And he basically said that anywhere else in the world, it'd be totally fine to have two black leads. But in the US, you're going to end up not getting the publicity and not getting the investment that you want. And then I found somewhere else that said that they didn't want the lead to be white because they didn't want interracial couple, which is quote unquote taboo. And so that's why they picked a Hispanic female lead, because they thought it was like the best quote unquote in between. So I was like, I mean,
interesting.
That doesn't, like, first of all, it's still an interracial couple. And like, I don't know. It's just confusing, but it's like one of that last one. The first one was quoted by today.com is my source for Will Smith's quote, and the other one was from IMDb. So I don't know the validity. I mean, you
of the think about one, it, like, but how many interracial rom-com movies?
Almost none. There's none. Well, that's like the thing, and this always gets me really worked up. It's the same thing that I've said about, like, we don't get big name rom-coms with gay couples. There is one coming out that I'm so excited about. It's called A Nice Indian Boy, and I like might go see it in theaters. I never go to theaters. That's why that's a big deal. I stream my movies. But it looks really good. But it's like the first rom-com I've seen that is literally just about having this cute moment between two guys and not like, oh, one of them's coming out and that being the plot line.
The main thing.
And in theaters is huge because they never get to go in theaters. And then again, like, it so frequently when it is two black leads, it gets like straight to streaming services or things like that, or it doesn't get the funding and whatever. And so I think that there is a really big problem in Hollywood with the portrayal of certain people. We always like every and like probably the
most we get is like white
passing
Latina women, and it's like, all right, you know, you got a little bit of color here, but it's like that's not it's and that's where I'm like, I'm so excited about this movie coming out because I'm like, let's turn the tides. Let's like start giving more representation, because it's so much more interesting when you get to see like all aspects of love and not just here's another white couple. I agree.
You know,
too many white couple movies.
I will say, like, the majority of movies, if not all the movies we've covered, like, maybe not all, but most of the movies we've covered, it's white couple, white couple, white couple, and it sucks.
I'm looking now.
Yeah, it's not good.
They might all be white couple.
No, I have been thinking about it a lot too, because I'm like,
unless someone's secretly Hispanic in here. Jerry Maguire, Ghost, Lake House. Well, Keanu Reeves is
he?
Yeah, he is. He is half or part Asian, Hawaiian.
Oh. Well, okay.
He's mixed, so he's not full white. What else we got here?
He's still. I'm like pulling it up right now.
I mean, he's like light skinned. 100-Foot Journey. That's one.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. 100-Foot Journey. Technically Wicked.
Yeah. Technically.
Technically, I mean,
Lovebirds.
Lovebirds. Another one. Yeah. Love Simon is gay, but not. Oh no, gay. I think it is interracial too.
It is. You're right. Yeah.
So Love Simon, Hunt for Virginia. Okay, those.
So we can count on one hand.
One hand. The number of like big name ones we've covered, and yeah, it's really disappointing.
Yikes. Yeah. Well, that's Hollywood's fault.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame them.
I'm blaming them. I like to stay pretty diverse with the horror movies I give you.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to, diversify here.
I know. I've been going with all my, like, classic ones I've seen as a kid.
Which is totally fine, yeah.
But, of course, I had a very, very...
a lot of rom-coms I think of.
Yeah.
A lot of I watched are straight white couples, so, all the big name stuff.
Shake my head. I know.
Do you have any other facts for me?
I do. First of all, J-Lo was almost Sarah Melas or whatever, and I was like, oh, Demi will be relieved to find out that she wasn't.
Ooh, J-Lo.
Second to last one. When they were writing the scene for the kiss with the jangling keys and everything, they were just happening to walk down the street, and Will and Tennant and Kevin James were like kind of like mimicking out and went to a random brownstone and we're kind of like chatting it up, and then opening the door is Sarah Jessica Parker, and she was like, what's happening? And they were like, can we film using your door? And they were like, she was kind of like,
what the hell?
She was like, okay, sure. So the door of the Allegra and James like kiss is actually Sarah Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick's front door.
Wow.
And then my last fun fact is that Hitch is the third highest grossing romantic comedy of all time.
Wow.
Behind number 1, My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay.
And number 2, What Women Want.
Okay. I haven't seen
either
of those.
Really?
Nope.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, 2 more movies with white couples.
Add it to the list. Yeah, 2.
I will throw on the list.
Thank you. Okay. So, your movie. I decided to give you another classic yet again. I'm going to give you The Exorcist.
Oh, shit.
So...
Why?
So enjoy.
Dude.
The movie. Do you know anything about this movie?
I think that this is what I know. Ready?
Okay.
Little girl is possessed. Priest comes to exorcise her. All of the crosses turn upside down and she levitates in the air.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's the movie.
Yep, got it. I don't have to watch it now, right?
Yeah, you're right. You know what? You don't have to watch it.
Perfect.
The Exorcist. Yes, it's about a young girl named Reagan, and she becomes possessed, and her mother is struggling to try and save her from this ailment or whatever is happening. So they call a priest, and they're just trying to exorcise this demon. So there's a lot of stuff about this movie, the making of, how it was received.
It's gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, it's probably the most iconic horror movie, one of the most profitable horror movies in theaters. So it's iconic, and so you have to watch it. It's 73. I don't think you're gonna get scared, but there are some gross, like
73. It's that old.
It's an oldie. Yeah. It's an oldie.
Okay. I'm less intimidated.
Yeah, I mean, there's some it's a lot of it's pretty cheesy. But
love me some cheese.
Yeah, there'll probably be more scenes that you might laugh at because they're not gonna hold up as well. All right, so that's our movie. You can find it on Prime. That might be it.
Yeah, I've been really bad at saying where you can find things, but last week Hitch was available nowhere. not
Yeah,
a single
so-
place. So
Why you
rent
didn't say
it.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thanks for listening to How Do You Watch This? You can find us on Instagram at How Do You Watch This and TikTok at How Do You Watch, or email us at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com. If you like the show, support us by giving us a review or recommend to a friend. And if suddenly you're like, there haven't been episodes in a couple weeks, feel free to reach out, because it turns out that our last couple didn't post on Apple. Thank you so much to the Open and Kill podcast for letting us know. Otherwise, they would have been lost to history.
Yeah. God, there's two episodes that got removed, so I have to like repost them. So there might be a weird like
Timeline
yeah.
flip. Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Cool.
Blame Apple.
It is always
Always.
Apple's fault. Apple's gonna like blacklist us now.
Yeah.
We're already blacklisted.
Yeah, we're already blacklisted. It's fine. Anyway, we'll
All
see you
right.
next week for The Exorcist.
Bye.